Save today at Room to Room's President's Day sale. 55% off furniture and mattresses, 20% off accessories,
and 24-month special financing.
The time to act is now.
Room to Room Tupelo, where we know there's no place like your home.
At First Choice Bank, we know you can't always make it before the bank closes. With our integrated teller, you can talk to a live person as late as 7 p.m. on weekdays and noon on Saturdays. It's not just an ATM, it's an ITM. First Choice Bank, your choice for banking.
Mississippi's trusted weather experts. This is Mississippi Live Weather at 5.
Well, hello there. Chief Meteorologist Matt Lopon here live from the Northeast Mississippi Community College campus as we are here for our game of the week presented by Langston Lott and Casey Lott. It's going to be Kosciuszko and Rosa Forte, and that's going to be tipping off at 8:30 tonight. A little later tip-off because, of course, we are in playoff action here, and our Ethan Foster is behind me in the Coliseum getting highlights. We'll hopefully have highlights from a bunch of games, including a lot of area games coming up here at 10 o'clock tonight, so he's busy doing that. We'll hopefully talk to him at 6 o'clock about, of course, our game of the week, which is Kosciuszko and Rosa Forte, both traveling over 100 miles here to the Northeast campus to take on this game of the week, and we're excited for that. High above us, it is a beautiful day, comparatively speaking, to last week. Our Mississippi Live drone over top of the Northeast Mississippi Community College campus, kind of looking out there toward the Coliseum, and Gabe has kind of pulled that up there for folks at home. You can see it is beautiful, clear skies as far as the eye can see, and I think a lot of folks excited for that after yesterday. Again, packed parking lot here. A lot of folks making the trip up, not just here to Northeast, but ICC over the last couple of days for the playoffs. Again, the 4A playoff game between Rosa Forte and Kosciuszko is our game of the week, but it is just an absolutely gorgeous scene out there this evening as we show up with mostly sunny skies. Look back there toward the horizon. You can see not even a cloud in the sky at this time. So just kind of a beautiful afternoon. And hopefully that continues to take shape into a beautiful evening. I do expect those clear skies will help those temperatures to cool down as we go into and through the evening. That's one of our headlines again for tonight here on Mississippi Live Weather. Picture perfect weather for not just this, but again, we're starting to get into baseball season. We'll transfer over here in the next couple weeks, depending on our ability to kind of juggle weather and basketball over to baseball games of the week. So we're looking forward to being able to go to even more locations for that. The weekend is going to stay sunny and dry. We do eventually have some rain chances on the way as we look toward next week. I think the spring-like air, the spring-like warmth sticks with us. It'll probably be the real extended forecast before we start talking about more significant chances for storms and maybe severe weather. And eventually we will unfortunately transition back toward to that. But non-issue for tonight. Again, Boonville had multiple rounds of those severe thunderstorms last night, as you can see here on the first 12. We're 67 at 6 p.m. 52s look toward 9 by midnight, 47 down, low 40s by early tomorrow, maybe a couple of clouds, but it's been just crystal clear this afternoon, and that will continue. Temperature-wise, I'm wearing this jacket just because it's just easier with a couple of wind gusts out here. It's overkill. I mean, we're 68 right now in the Tupelo area, 71 degrees, though, here in Boonville, 70 in Amory, and coming in about 70 back there in Tunica, again, where Rosa Forte hails from. And Kosciuszko, our other game of the week there, coming in at 73 degrees, a little warmer there in Attala County. Mama Justice Doppler radar. You can see our most recent storm system back there toward the East Coast. Again, this is the one that brought us to active weather. All the hail yesterday has made for an active weather day for locations back down there closer to the coast, but that is moving away. In its wake, we have a high-pressure center building closer, but we also have that front we're looking at toward the Midwest. Not a lot of really cold air with this. Not a ton of time for moisture return with this. Our next front will bring maybe limited chances for a few showers. We're not expecting anything overly heavy, overly oppressive, and overly significant as we look toward the next week. We'll time out when that is in more detail. So in the nearer term here, it is a pretty simple forecast for our future cast on a Mama Justice Doppler radar, which was very active yesterday, has nothing on it today. And future cast then, as a result, not going to have much on it as we look toward tonight. Very few even clouds. When we get a high pressure center like this, you get sinking air, calm winds, clear skies. That combination from time to time, it's possible maybe we could develop some patches of fog overnight if we can calm those winds down enough. Especially where we saw the maximum rainfall yesterday. It's still possible maybe there's just enough moisture out there for that early tomorrow morning. But as you can see, for most of us, the overwhelming trend is fairly clear skies for tonight, and more of that cloud cover trying to moves northward as we look toward tomorrow. So here's a look again at the next 24. 42 to start off your Saturday morning. We're 71 degrees by noon, 74 as we head toward tomorrow afternoon. I mean, come on. That's just absolutely spectacular weather on the way for your Saturday. And let me just tell you, Sunday, in many, many ways, looking potentially just as good. Okay, and the funny thing about me saying just as good is I gave Gabe a hard time the other day about editorializing the forecast. Some people like cold. And if you're one of those folks, don't have much of that to show you over the next 7 days. We'll look at when we are expected to be the coolest, and we will get you your Mississippi Live Game of the Week forecast brought to you by Casey Lott coming up here in 60 seconds as well. And our meteorologist, Gabe Maynor, is going to be breaking down some of those rain chances next week, maybe just a mention or two of what's to follow in the extended forecast. Our pattern gets a little bit more active. That is coming up at 60 seconds here from the Mobile Room to Room Weather Center as Mississippi Live weather continues right after this.
When you've been injured, don't settle for a lawyer who doesn't even know where you live. Call Langston and Lott. Local lawyers, personal service, real results.
As we move into storm season, here's something most homeowners don't realize after a storm. Roof damage isn't always obvious. Wind can lift shingles, breaking the seal. Hail can bruise them below, and flashing around chimneys and pipes can loosen without you ever knowing. That damage may not show up for months. If your area has strong wind or hail, a professional inspection will help bring you clarity before small damage turns into bigger problems.
The 9th Annual World of Customs Indoor Car Show, Friday through Sunday, February 27th through March 1st in Tupelo Furniture Market, Building 5. Custom cars, trucks, and bikes from across the nation. With adult admission, you'll get a ticket for a chance to win a Yukon Toolbox to be given away Sunday. Donated by Advanced Heating and Air Conditioning, a free garage floor from Bo's Best Epoxy Flooring. The World of Customs Car Show, February 27th through March 1st in Tupelo Furniture Market, Building 5. Partially funded by Visit Mississippi and Tupelo Visitors Bureau.
Right now, from the Room to Room Weather Center, here's Mississippi's Chief Meteorologist, Matt Lovehon.
Well, we're live out here in the Boonville area, Northeast Mississippi Community College campus for our Mississippi Live Game of the Week presented by Casey Lott and Langston and Lott there. You expect again this evening, we're going to be in the 50s eventually as we look toward the tip of that game. But again, the tip of that game is at 8:30 tonight. It is Rosa Fort and Kosciuszko. These are two very good teams. Only 3 losses on the year for each team. Just about the same number of wins, 25 plus. We'll talk more about that with our Ethan Foster coming up at 6 p.m. here. As we take our shot live from the drone there high above us here on the Northeast Mississippi Community College campus. Again, there's our Mississippi Live drone. Hopefully y'all having a great day there as we kind of widen things back out on kind of the wide shot and look up. Again, the skies remain mostly clear. It's just an absolutely beautiful day. One thing I will note that and I don't know if it's going to be very obvious on here. Boonville obviously was hit very, very hard with the recent ice storm that we had. It is impressive to see the kind of cleanup that has occurred around the region, but obviously there's still a lot to go. Pine trees, other trees significantly impacted by that. And so they're just, in many cases, very piles and piles and piles of limbs along the sides of the roads. I know it's something that's experienced by a lot of folks across the region, not just up here in Prentiss County, but in Union County. We've seen it in the Lafayette County, Tippah County. You know how it goes when you start the list. You got to complete the list. But, obviously, Tishomingo County, Alcorn County as well. All significantly impacted with this here. So back again on ground level here in the Boonville area as we're looking at the sunny and clear conditions today on Northeast Mississippi Community College campus. We mentioned a bunch of different games. We have I believe. Oh, pop in there, Gabe. I had a second ago. I know it's the Itawamba girls taking. Is it Tisch County?
Tisch County.
And Itawamba taking. Yeah, back in the Coliseum behind me. When I say behind me, you got to get over those cars there. But back right over there in the Coliseum taking shape now. And our Ethan Foster will have highlights from that game coming up here later on tonight as well. So, while we have our main game of the week, we're going to probably continue to have and highlights for some of those other games, kind of like we did this last Wednesday. But it's beautiful right now, 68. But as you saw a moment ago, getting cooler into the evening. Gabe, I'm going to go ahead and, you can bring it back probably to my main live shot here, and then we'll send it back to you in the studio. But I think, the big headline again tonight is that we are going to continue to have beautiful weather into this weekend. The question, I think, just for so many folks is, when does that change? And I know that's what you have the answer to as well, right?
Exactly, Matt. And so enjoy the dry air. As you saw yesterday, things can definitely ramp up in intensity, and fortunate that we are on the back end of that now. Alcorn County showing those dry and clear and blue skies all the way across there in Alcorn and Prentiss County. 70 degrees though, but that dew point, 34 degrees, shows you how dry this atmosphere is, and we get to enjoy that not just today, but even heading into that weekend. Oxford, again, another area hit by multiple hailstorms yesterday evening. Now 70 degrees with blue skies, so beautiful conditions. So luckily we get to enjoy at least a great end to the week, despite Thursday being a little bit on the rougher side. And again, those low 30 dew points definitely doing some favors. Now, as we take a look over there in Itawamba County, in the Fulton area, that's where some other games are going on in our North Mississippi playoff action. And even there, 70 degrees with plenty of sunshine. So whether you're at Itawamba or at Northeast, both campuses looking good to go and perfect for that playoff action this evening. Some of those alerts across North Mississippi, I want to give a big shout out to our weather watchers out in the field. These reports in North Mississippi, 90% of them are from you. You sending us your reports and us forwarding that to the National Weather Service allows for these to populate and allows for the National Weather Service in Memphis and in Jackson to know what's happening and how to issue those warnings going forward. So you guys did a phenomenal job sending in those reports. And if you do want to view any of those hail pictures or any of those storm pictures, we do have that on our Facebook pages as well. So make sure to check that out and see the hard work that our weather watchers did here in North Mississippi. Now, as we're looking at the forecast tonight, not seeing any storm reports and not seeing a drop of rainfall. We are again in that clear air mode on our radar, meaning that we are not dealing with any of those rainy conditions. Might be, let me put this on a loop here real quick. That might be some smoke showing up, still might be some clear air returns. Let me put this on a 30-minute loop. And it looks like that might be a smoke plume up there potentially in the southern Prentiss County area. Might have to move that Alcorn County camera to the south side, because that looks like it could potentially be one of those controlled burns over towards Marietta and Kirkville. But of course, that's what we're dealing with tonight. No rain on our radar, and that is a great sight for our game of the week and other games in North Mississippi. 56 first tip, 51 by that final buzzer. But as Matt was mentioning, that tip off at 8:30 tonight means those cooler temperatures do get to settle into the forecast. So grab an extra layer. A light jacket will be needed heading into this evening, but right now, not needed whatsoever. As we carry those that Futurecast through our Friday night, stays with those dry and clear conditions, but the driver in our forecast continues to be this large ridging pattern, this dominant ridging pattern, and the high pressure associated with it. That high pressure center well out there towards Texas and Oklahoma, kind of driving in that northern air once again, which is that drier forecast as well. That'll stick around in our North Mississippi skies into our Saturday morning, meaning our weekend, starting off pretty hot, literally warm temperatures, and it is going to be those beautiful blue skies once again. As we take a look at those low temperatures, we're 42 Tupelo, Amory, and Houston. We're 45 Grenada and Eupora, even up there towards Tunica, and 48 Greenwood, Cleveland, and Belzona. Do want to note, Tunica, that's where Rosa Fort traveled from the night, and that was over a 100-mile drive to Boonville. Same thing for our folks out there in Kosciuszko, over 100 miles. So both teams traveling far, but let me tell you, these teams show up and show out. So it should be a great fan section, should also be a great cheer squad as well. And speaking of, those winners decided by you, and we'll decide who wins that coming up after the 6 o'clock broadcast tonight. So go submit those votes if you haven't already, and we will have those winners coming up tonight at 10. Keeping it on that broad view, you can see how that high pressure center, that sinking air, is right over the top of North Mississippi as we get our Saturday started. And that's that dominant ridging pattern that we were talking about just a moment ago. Further into our mid to late morning, you can see how that high pressure center starts to drive a little bit more out there towards the east. What this is going to do is start to return some of this southerly flow into North Mississippi, and those southerly winds returning some of that Gulf air, which has that Gulf moisture, and some of that those Gulf temperatures, which are on the warmer side. So Saturday afternoon, despite a cooler start to the morning, by the afternoon we're sitting much better into those afternoon hours as we get some of that warmer air returning to the forecast, and again, those spring-like temperatures in the forecast as well. Our Saturday afternoon staying warm, staying beautiful, staying blue with those blue skies here in North Mississippi, and those high temperatures, like I mentioned, going to be on the warmer side. I mean, our record for this time of year, set just a couple years back, 81 degrees. While we're not necessarily close to it, we're not that far away. 75 degrees in Tupelo, 77 Houston, Bruce, Grenada, and Water Valley. We're 74 Golden Triangle, and 76 Greenville, Greenwood, and Belzona. So those temperatures warming up. We are transitioning those seasons just a bit, but we are technically still in late winter, so we're not fully in that spring season, but definitely feeling like that on our weekend. Continuing those evening hours, you can see that we do get some of the moisture in the forecast late into our Saturday night, but we expect a large part of these rain chances to remain towards our north up there into Tennessee, despite this cold front moving over the top of North Mississippi. Those clouds and potential light showers build into our area by 6 a.m. on our Sunday. But again, we do continue to expect this to just be cloud cover, not really seeing any rainfall attached to it. So Sunday morning, we're starting off cooler once again, enough for a light jacket for those early risers on our Sunday morning. But by mid to late morning, these temperatures honestly comfortable enough to where you can just wear your usual Sunday outfits and be good to go. We're 47 Amory, Red Bay, and Boonville, 49 Holly Springs and Oxford, and low 50 showing up Greenwood, Cleveland, Greenville, and Belzona. As we keep that futurecast moving throughout our Sunday, shows that cloud cover building as the day goes on. This again as that next system kind of rolls into the area. Now the big thing with this system, what's driving our forecast, is we get this cold front that's moving into North Mississippi, and that's driving us throughout the overnight hours into our Sunday morning. This will start to dissipate out on our next system actually moving into the area, and that system is going to be well out here towards Texas. As this low pressure center moves into North Mississippi, and arguably that could be a little bit closer than where it's positioned at right here on Futurecast, that's going to bring in some of these rain chances late into our Sunday afternoon and including our Sunday evening. So any plans you may have dealing with some of those scattered showers building in late on our Sunday, and as that system approaches closer, brings in some of that cloud cover and that moisture once again. But then we do have a little dry spell to go into that start of our work week before our increased rain chances push in by late in the week on our work week next week. So nonetheless, Sunday night, staying with those cloudy conditions and a few of those scattered showers, but even those not going to be overly intense, those remaining sub-severe. A few rumbles of thunder, not impossible, but we primarily expect those light to moderate showers moving into North Mississippi late on our Sunday and carrying over into the start of our Monday. High temperatures still going to be on the warmer side. We're 76 Bruce, Grenada, and Greenwood, 76 Louisville and Macon, and 70s still showing up in Prentiss, Alcorn, and Tishomingo County. Our baseball forecast, a little bit warmer because it is out west into Texas, and that's why we're well into the 80s for that first pitch in Arlington, and still upper 70s even by that final out for the Bulldogs as they take on Virginia Tech. Bulldog fans, 1-0 so far this weekend. Let's keep that momentum and continue that undefeated season. I mean, it's been a great time to be a Bulldog, and hopefully that continues as we continue what has been a bounce-back season. Ole Miss playing right now. I will check that score between the shows, but they're going to be taking on Ohio State tomorrow in Houston. So if you're traveling out there to see the Rebels play, it's 73 first pitch, 81 towards that final out, and 11 a.m. first pitch. Is not a bad time frame in Texas because you get to enjoy the peak of the day and also some warmer temperatures as that game wraps up. Our 7-day forecast stays with those spring-like temperatures all the way through the start of the week, and there's that bit of a dry spell. Again, rain chances going to be those overnight hours where we see that peak threat. We could probably put a 20 in there somewhere, but I did 10 and 10, so it's not showing up because it's not extreme during the days. It's going to be the overnight hours that are affected. But as we get more into Tuesday, drier air builds in, and there's our isolated scattered rain chances heading into mid to late next week. Now, one of the things that we are watching is multiple disturbances pushing in by midweek and lingering into the weekend as well, and even into the start of the following week. Now, that is the extended forecast, so there's a lot of change that's expected to happen. But one thing that is a little bit consistent is at least showing those showers and storms developing both on our Euro and GFS model, which are two of our long track models we use to forecast. So whenever we get that consistency, run after run, that's where we kind of expect that to play out. And dew points are going to be in the low to mid 60s, potentially upper 60s if this continues to hold true. But we're keeping eyes as we get into late next week for potential of a few thunderstorms and not out of the realm of possibilities to maybe get a stronger storm mixed in there. But of course, keeping eyes on that. It will change as we get closer, and that timing and impacts will change as well. But as you saw this week, where we told you guys on Monday to watch out for large hail, and that large hail ended up producing on Thursday, well, similar to what could happen next week, we'll keep you guys updated. And as soon as confidence climbs enough to where we expect some of that to happen, we will let you guys know and keep you guys updated ahead of time as those trends happen. Again, keep it here for the very latest, and you'll get that most accurate information first here at Mississippi Live Weather. So we appreciate all of your support, and we hope that you guys are having a great evening. We are at our game of the week there in Boonville. Kosciuszko taking on Rosa Fort at 8:30, but a little sneak peek at 10 o'clock. We're having all of our games highlights tonight that are at Northeast. So all 4 games happening tonight. We'll have those highlights coming up at 10, including our game of the week. Our Ethan Foster working hard out there, and appreciate all the work that he's doing. We'll also talk to him and Matt coming up at 6 with the very latest on what's happening at the game of the week. But we encourage you guys to join all of our broadcasts. Friday is a fun time. It's a great way to wrap up the work week, especially with the forecast like what we have right now. So we do hope you guys enjoy that, but also stay tuned to the broadcast because we like to have fun here on Mississippi Live Weather. All right, our next show happening later on tonight at 6 o'clock. Teased that just a moment ago. But what we're also going to be talking about in the Room to Room Weather Center is how those rain chances will trend into late next week, what impacts we could potentially see, and a little bit on that long-range forecast of what to expect here in North Mississippi. We're also going to touch on our game of the week. That is going to be with our Chief Meteorologist Matt Lobhon and our Ethan Foster. So stay tuned at 6. Going to be a fun time.
So how do you start this habit? Because I know my kids are like, oh, I won't brush my teeth, and we force them to. That can be a challenge for parents.
Yeah, it's a real challenge for parents, but it's just one of those things, kind of like potty training or anything else. You just have to do it, and you have to be the adult, and you have to manage the situation through it. They do come through it. I haven't met a child yet in my 25 years in this practice that we haven't been able to get to where they get over that and get through that. But yeah, it does come with some, adverse moments and maybe some whining or crying or something along the way that all parents have to go through with their children. But it gets right.
Yeah, you guys, family is in your name. Why is it so important to establish this family connection early?
Yeah, so when family members come, and we've seen many of these children's family members throughout their entire lives, when we get to see those people, we've created this relationship and this safe place for them. So when we get to see their children, we create that safe place for them and hopefully create lifelong habits of coming so that we can prevent disease from occurring, so they never have to have that disability or that distracting moment in class when something doesn't feel right or doesn't feel well because it was neglected or unknown that something really was going on. The family environment here is kind of a culture we've built over time, over the 40 plus years we've been in this location, and we really have gotten an amazing opportunity to connect with all of our patients and their families through that time.